Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice Radio. So today, we've got a very exciting, but very annoying new Pokemon GX card to have a look at. Ladies and gentlemen, we're actually getting a Honchkrow GX. Though we're also getting a Duskstone, and we will need to have a look at that as well. So, Honchkrow GX then, looking at the basics, has got 210 HP. That's about what we would expect from a Stage 1. It's right in line with Zoroark, so, you know, that's quite nice. The retreat cost of 2 is frankly uninspiring. There's nothing really good about that at all. The weakness to lightning, well, it's weird. It's not very good because you got stuff like Zapdos and Pikachu and Zekrom running around. But then again, Zapdos doesn't hit for weakness, but we've still got stuff like Pikachu and Zekrom running around. So, yes, not a good weakness to have at the moment. We do like the resistance to fighting, given that, well, you got stuff like Buzzwole, but also Pikachu and Zekrom is weak to fighting, which means people are going to play fighting to try and take it down. Also, Zapdos is weak to lightning, so yeah. Good resistance, bad weakness. Being a darkness type means you can have Devoured Field to do a bit of extra damage. It means you can have Black Market Prism Star, so that you only give up 1 prize when KO'd if you've got Darkness Energy attached, rather than 2. And it means that you're hitting weakness against some stuff like Mimikyu and Gengar Tag Team GX, but honestly, it's not the best weakness to be hitting. Now, the ability here, we like the ability. The ability is what makes us happy. The ability reads, as long as this is your active Pokemon, your opponent cannot play Pokemon Tools, Special Energy, or Stadium cards from their hand. It is Special Energy Lock, Tool Lock, and Stadium Lock, all in one go, ladies and gentlemen, just so long as it's active. And like a lot of you, I start thinking about Giratina EX here. Giratina EX had Chaos Wheel that stopped you playing Tool, Special Energy, or Stadium cards, but that was off a 4 energy attack. This is an ability if it's in the active. Now, don't get me wrong, yes, your opponent can play something like a Guzma or Escape Rope to get it out the active, but if you've only got Honchkrow on the field, that won't be an option. And it is an ability, so it can be turned off by Glaceon or Slacking. But to be honest, neither of those are really doing a huge amount in the metagame at the moment. There are ways around it, but it's a little bit awkward. I should mention, it's also from the hand. So, and I don't think anybody is right now. But let's say, for argument's sake, people were playing the Delibird from Lost Thunder. The Delibird from Lost Thunder lets you search your deck for Pokemon Tools as an attack and attach them, and that would go through this ability because you are attaching from the deck using an attack. You are not attaching from the hand. Again, I don't think anyone's playing Delibird, but it is an option. So it's kind of nice, and we'll get more onto how it can be amazing in a moment, but I should at this stage tell you about Duskstone. Now, Duskstone is a slightly confusing card that we're still trying to pin down exactly the limits, but it reads, and it will get its own video later on today, but we cannot talk about Honchkrow without it. If you have a Pokemon which can evolve into Mismagius, Honchkrow, Chandelure, or Aegislash in play, search your deck for one of these Pokemon and put them on one of the Pokemon to evolve it. It is an item card that gives you a turn 1 evolution. That's a little bit ridiculously silly. And again, I'll go into this properly in the Duskstone video, but there's nothing to stop you doing something like Tapu Lele and then grabbing, I don't know, let's say Volkner to search this out. So frankly, ladies and gentlemen, you can get this turn 1 if you want it. The point is, you can go first and have a turn 1 Honchkrow. This seems to go against all of the banning that Pokemon has done lately. This is introducing a card which can, on the very first turn, before your opponent's had a chance to draw a card, lock your opponent out the game. Because let's say they're playing a Zoroark deck that's playing 4 double colorless energy and no other energy cards. That's it. They're out of the game, ladies and gentlemen. What about that Porygon Z we looked at yesterday that lets you attach essentially as many special energy as often as you like? Well, actually, you're not going to be able to attach any special energy with this out. So on the one hand, this Porygon Z is amazing. And on the other hand, it's not ever going to work. But because the second Honchkrow comes out, Porygon Z can't attach, and now you might even be in the situation where you're only playing special energy, and that's it. You're locked out the game. Or you might really be relying on a Stadium card. I mean, something like Shrine of Punishment to get extra damage. That's going to go down. I mean, one of the best things about this is that your opponent can play neither Shrine of Punishment nor Choice Band, meaning it is going to be significantly more difficult for them to actually be able to KO Honchkrow here, because they're not going to get the extra damage from either of them. And there's plenty of other things you're going to stop here. Stadiums, tools, special energy, they are all going down. If your opponent is relying on something like Wishful Baton to keep energy on the field, yeah, they're not going to be able to use it. Now, they can still use it if it's attached, but the point of Honchkrow is here, you stop them attaching it so that you can drop a Field Blower to get rid of any Stadium or any tool, and then they won't be able to play them back down again. If you're expanded and your opponent is relying on something like Dimension Valley, they're not able to play it. And that's kind of the point here. You are locking your opponent out of what they want to do. If they're playing a Buzzwole as a bit of a tech, and then they're playing a couple of Rainbow Energy, well, they're not ever going to be able to play it because they can't play their Rainbow Energy. I could keep going, but the point here is very simple. Duskstone gives you a turn 1 Honchkrow. Honchkrow says no tools, no special energy, no Stadium, essentially unless you can block my ability or get me out the active. Now, with an ability this good, the attack isn't going to be amazing, but actually it's not too bad at all. 1 darkness, 2 colorless energy, 90 to the active. This attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched EX and GX Pokemon. Clearly, if you could do 30 damage just to any bench and be 2-hit KOing Zoruas, it would be nuts. As it is, it's kind of like Night Spear, except you get to do 30 to 2 rather than 30 to 1, but it can only be 2 EXs and GXs, not any. It's nice to get extra damage on the field. I mean, essentially here, what you're doing is 2-hit KOing pretty much anything. Because while you're 2-hit KOing, you're also doing 30 damage to 2 bench. So you're essentially doing 120 with a Choice Band, but in between, you can essentially be doing 30 damage to anything on the bench. So you can be building something up and then 2-hit KOing it. You're not going to get many 1-hit KOs here. You will get some. If you can hit a Blacephalon twice on the bench and then hit it with a Choice Band, yeah, you'll get a 1-hit KO. It's not impossible. And if you're hitting for weakness, you'll get a 1-hit KO of a Choice Band. Hey, Gengar and Mimikyu GX. But generally speaking, you're looking at 2-hit KOs here. And I like it. I really like this attack. It's a little bit awkward because it's a darkness double colorless and it's vulnerable to Enhanced Hammer and all of that. But it's still going to get some damage done. It's not a huge 1-hit KO attack. What it is the kind of attack that is going to whittle down. And generally speaking, whittling down won't work, but remember what I've always said. If you can't 1-hit KO, 2-hit KO with Disruption. And if you're stopping your opponent playing special energy, or tools, or Stadium cards, and then you're 2-hit KOing, yeah, I'm on board with this. GX attack here, double colorless energy, so it is for essentially 1 energy attachment. Look at your opponent's hand and discard 2 cards that you find there. Well, this just carries a lock on. This just lets you keep going with the lock so that you can block them out of playing all of those types of cards and then discard 2 cards from their hand. Now, this isn't a turn 1 option. I suppose it is if you're going second, but you're allowing your opponent to have a turn. But if you go second here, you can use Duskstone to evolve immediately, attach a double colorless energy, and get rid of 2 cards from your opponent's hand. Yeah, they've had a turn, but maybe they've got Pokemon in the hand that they really want to evolve into. Or maybe they've got basic energy, so you discard their basic energy while blocking their special energy. Or maybe they've got 1 supporter, so you get rid of it. And that really is the goal of this card. This attack is supposed to lock them out the game in the same way that the ability is supposed to lock them out the game. Your goal here is to find a turn where they've not got many options. Use this GX attack, because it is your once per game GX attack. You got to time it right. But essentially you play it and then your opponent's locked out the game. You get rid of all of their basic energy and they can't play special. Or you get rid of their supporter. What you really want to do here is drop something like a Judge or a Marshadow, put them down to a 4-card hand, play this to put them down to a 2-card hand, and leave them with some random Pokemon and item card that isn't going to do them any real good. Get rid of their supporter cards after putting them down to a 4-card hand. And if you play this correctly, no special energy, no tools, no stadium, 2-card hands that you know isn't terribly good. And yeah, maybe they draw out of it. Maybe they're not relying on special energy or tools or stadiums. Maybe it doesn't work. But with Duskstone allowing you to do this turn 1, it's got a pretty gosh darned good chance of working. I'm giving Honchkrow between 4 and 5 Wossies. We don't give half Wossies. That would be barbaric. And I've been given a lot of high marks to cards from this set so far. And honestly, I think this could be a 5 Wossie card. I'm put off a little bit by the energy cost. I'm put off a little bit by the weakness. And I'm put off a little bit because there's going to be decks that can just ignore this because it's not going to matter. But this is turn 1 lock. With a decent 2-hit KO attack. And a GX attack that can lock you out of the game straight away. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to annoy people. And it does seem to go against everything that Pokemon have been doing lately in terms of stopping cards that stop you playing the game. But I want to know what you think about this. Does this seem unfair? Does this seem mean? Or does this seem a little bit balanced? Let me know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. And do please make sure you're checking out youtube.com/Wassie Plays for some more Wassie action. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.